Hello everyone. Today we're here to take a look at the R.L. Allan ESV Study Bible in the personal size. Now I know some of you have seen my other video review on the black version of this when I purchased it about 6 months ago, right when R.L. Allan initially rolled this Bible out. And at the time I had only had the Bible for a short while, so while the review is nice as an introduction, now I've had a chance to actually use it for quite a bit. And so I thought I'd make a follow-up video to that. But actually this video is more entailed to show the difference on both of the available options for this particular Bible. Ian over at R.L. Allan was nice enough to send me this copy right here, which is the brown, to complement the black that I had already purchased, to show the difference, and I am so glad he did. It is phenomenal. We're going to get into that here in just a minute. But before we do that, I wanted to answer a few questions about the ESV translation. I've received quite a few questions about why the ESV, what makes this study Bible better than other study Bibles, from some of the people that have seen my reviews, and also some of the individuals who have reached out to me from church and from just local areas about this Bible. And so I thought, well, what better opportunity than to put that into this video to kind of highlight some of the features of the ESV Study Bible. So first and foremost, the ESV is an award-winning translation. It won the 2009 ECPA Christian Book Award for the Book of the Year. It also won the World Magazine's Book of the Year in 2009. So the reason it won these awards has to do with the amount of time, effort, and talent that went into putting a translation of this caliber together. There were 95 pastors, Christian scholars, teachers, theologians who got together to write the commentary for the study notes for this Bible, as well as all of the articles that you'll find. Now, there are about 50 articles in the full-length study Bible that Crossway has. It's actually this guy right here. This is my wife's study Bible, the ESV full size in Cordovan calfskin. There are about 50 articles in that Bible. The ESV study personal size does not have all of those articles. They have removed some of them just to keep the thickness of the Bible down. You can, however, when you purchase this Bible, access all the articles and content free online at crossway.org. So you're not really missing anything. It's just that the articles are not physically in the Bible, all of them, I should say. You still get the articles before the New Testament and before the Old Testament, and you still get the articles before every single book of the Bible. That basically gives you a context, introduction, historical introduction, literary style, author. I mean, it is jam-packed with fantastic information to get you accommodated with the book that you're about to read before you even begin your Bible study. Someone had wrote online, and I believe Crossway put this, that it's about 20 volumes worth of Christian literature and study that went into this Bible. So we're about 20 volume worth in one book. That's a lot. There's about 2 million words of Bible text in this Bible, 20,000 or so study notes, 240 color maps, 200 plus charts, and 80,000 cross-references. So it's got a very extensive cross-reference section. Not to mention that it's got a very extended concordance in the back, which, as I mentioned in other reviews, I actually use. So when compared to some of the other study Bibles on the market, such as the NIV study, the MacArthur study, the Nelson study, the Ryrie study, all of which I've had a chance to take a look at and I've owned, this by far is the best study Bible that's been produced. The content is just amazing. If you're new to the Bible, this is a great way to introduce you to the content, to give you some really good basic information. But then also, as you progress in your study, you're going to get a very, very good amount of detailed information as well. If you're more theologically inclined and you've had a chance to study the Bible your whole life, I guarantee you there'll be information in here that you didn't know, or that maybe you knew and forgot, or just a good different perspective to maybe what you've been accustomed to. So I don't think that this Bible is only for beginners or for students. I think anyone can pick up this Bible and really get a good benefit out of it. So that's the 2009 ECPA Christian Book Award and the 2009 World Book of the Month Award. I mean, that's pretty much why this Bible won those awards, on top of many other reasons as well. Some of my favorite scholars have been directly involved in the translation as well as the study notes. J.I. Packer, Wayne Grudem, John C. Collins, John Piper, Peter Gentry, Daniel Wallace, all of these individuals, to name a few, were involved in the content that went into this Bible. So a lot of very good solid information. So that's just a little bit of context about what you'll find on the pages of the Bible. But this review is really more geared towards the Bibles themselves, the construct. We'll look at the exterior attributes, we'll look at the interior attributes, we'll look at the paper and the typeface. We'll just take a look at the Bibles themselves now that we have them both in front of us side by side, and we'll have a much better understanding of how they're put together. So, as I mentioned before, the black one here I've had for about 6 months. I've had a chance to use it, I've had a chance to read it. I read this Bible on average once a day, but most of the time twice a day. This Bible actually goes to work with me in my work satchel, and it fits very nicely. And so when I get to work in the morning, first thing I do is I basically find a quiet nook in our library at work, and I do my daily devotion, my morning quiet time. So this Bible has seen a substantial amount of use in 6 months. And as you see when we'll put them together, the way this Bible holds up is amazing. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference between the one that I've used for 6 months and the brand new one that just came out of the box. They hold up so well. These R.L. Allens are constructed so incredibly well that even after substantial use, they still feel, look, and even smell brand new. I mean, this one still has a very beautiful smell to it every time I pick it up. So let's take a look at the exterior attributes. What we have right here is the black version. So it's highland goatskin in black, and over here we have the chocolate brown version, also highland goatskin. Now I'm going to tilt them just a bit so that you can hopefully get a view of the grain, and I'm hoping you can see that on camera. But while they look very similar, there is going to be some variation in the grain, and I love that. So the black one here, as you can see, the grain is kind of a perpendicular grain, and it's smooth. You can still feel the grain indentations as you run your fingers over it. Very pleasant, very, very soft. I mean, the cover just peels back on this. It's just so incredibly soft and limp. And then on the chocolate brown, if you look at it, and if you can kind of see that, it does have some of the natural grain to it as well, but it's also got this pebbly, beautiful pebbly grain to it that I just love. Neither of these Bibles have ever seen a mold. The natural grain is the way that this came off of the animal. So wonderful. Different textures, but both of these are just equally just beautiful. They just peel back. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous leather. I've owned a few different manufacturers in the leathers. I've gotten some samples from some of the binderies out there on some of their leathers. I have yet to find a leather as wonderful as the one that Allan uses in their highland goatskin. I'm a bit of a highland goatskin snob, I'm afraid now. Just absolutely wonderful leather. So the Bibles themselves, they're about 5.5 by 8 inches by about an 1.5 inches thick. So if you look at just a quick comparison here, don't want to spend too much time on the exterior, but this is the Allan ESV SCR. Here, this is about your full-size version Bible, and that's about the difference. And then if you look at the thickness here, it's not really too far off. And then we'll do one more here. We'll do the full-size. So this is the ESV full-size from Crossway. And then here is the personal size, so you can see the difference there, and the thickness difference. That's a substantially thicker Bible on the ESV Crossway there. So the size actually is probably my favorite thing about this Bible. Initially I wasn't sure about the size. I thought, well, it's kind of an odd size, maybe too small. It's perfect, and the reason it's perfect is, so look at this, I can actually palm it. And when I open it, I can easily hold this Bible with one hand. Easy to read in church, easy to carry in my satchel for work. Just Love this size. So as I mentioned before, you've got the Highland goatskin in black, the Highland goatskin in chocolate brown. These Bibles may come with some variations in the leather, meaning because the leather never sees a mold, you may get some that have little bug bites, little barbed wire scratches, maybe some scarring from where the animal had a contact with some sort of a predator, or just scratched itself on the corner of the barbed wire fence or whatever. You're going to get these variations from time to time. I think that they add a lot of personality to it. I was looking over the brown one here, and this one actually has almost no visible scarring at all from, this goat must have really taken care of itself. This Bible is almost completely flawless. This one has a few variations on the black, but I love it. I think it adds a little personality to it. So if you happen to get one that has that, don't think it's a defect. Don't necessarily start to worry yet. It could be that that's just the natural grain and the part of the life story of the animal. So I would look at it as a positive instead of a negative. The Bibles have gold lettering on the spine. I think it's a very classy look. It says Holy Bible, English Standard Version. You've got the Study Bible, and you've got the classic Allan seal at the bottom. There's nothing on the front and nothing on the back. And I kind of like that. I think that that's a very distinguished, classy look. I'm glad that they do that to leave these covers so naturally grained and without any kind of variations or dry stamps or lettering. It's just so nice to be able to have a classy looking Bible like that. The yap on the Bible is 9mm. So if you look down the center here, and you can see how much of that overhang it has. And if I try to bring it together, it does not touch, so it is not a full yap. But it does have just enough here to where over time it's going to start to kind of curl in on itself. Let me show you my black one here. And it just becomes nice and limp, beautiful, protects quite a bit, but really it's just more designed to have that appealing visual flavor that I love so much about Allan with the yap that they use. So the semi-yap I said is about 9mm. I think that that's plenty. It really gives the Bible a nice look. Now, as you can see, the Bible has red undergold art gilt. So what that means, basically the Bible is dipped in a red dye, and you can really see that dye when you turn it sideways here. And that's another thing that I absolutely adore about Allan. They use such a vibrant dye. Some of the other manufacturers out there, I know Cambridge also dyes their pages, but they have more of a salmon color, a little lighter. But Allan's dye is just so rich, so completely wonderfully red. And then on top of that red dye, they melt a gold foil. And that's where you get this beautiful gold sheen, very regal. And then when you open the Bible, you really start to see that red pop. It's gorgeous. Allan executes on this better than any other manufacturer in my opinion. Schuyler does something similar, and I like Schuyler's gilt. I have the Quintel, I think it's great, but all in all I'm still an Allan guy. I think that Allan executes that art gilding very well. While we're on the art gilt, I do want to show you this. So as I showed you the brown one here, which is brand new, and I'm going to hold it up to the camera, I'm going to let you see that gilt just in perfect condition, no scratches, no dings. But then again, it also hasn't been handled. So, and then I want to show you my black Bible that I've been using extensively for 6 months to show you how the gilt holds up with substantial use. So take a look at that. I don't know if you can see that as well as I can here, but I mean, gorgeous. You're really going to have to look to find any kind of imperfection in that. And I mean, I'm careful with my Bibles. I won't say that I'm not careful. I'm very careful with them, but even with thumbing through the pages, even with some use, that gilt holds up very well. So there should be years and years of just solid use for you if you decide to go with this Bible. The interior attributes of this Bible is, it is leather lined, and I believe it is goat skin leather lined. I mean, it's just so soft. And as you can see here on the inside, you're going to have the stamps, Highland goat skin on both of them. And that leather lining really helps with this flexibility that I showed you earlier when the pages just peel back. I can't get enough of that. It's gorgeous. when you open the Bible up on the inside, you'll notice that they did use a black leather lining for the black Bible, and they used a beautiful chocolate leather lining for the brown Bible. And then if you look at the end pages here, you'll notice they used a really nice deep navy for the black, and it's really soft, almost like a milk chocolate for the brown. I initially bought the black one because I thought I'd like the black better. I thought, you know, black Bible, blue, nice blue navy ribbons, oh, it's gonna be great. And then I received the brown one, and now I just don't even know. I think that this brown is so beautiful. I think that color is just so gorgeous that I think it might be my new favorite color. I don't know, I can't really pick, but it's just these things are so unique in their own way, so different even though they're the same Bible. So that's the exterior. Now let's take a quick look at some of the interior stuff. As I mentioned, we have the leather lining. We also have the gilt lines around the outside, which is another Allan trait. Some other manufacturers do use it, but Allan's really does a great job executing on this lining. That was the black one. Here's the brown one. So let's do a quick side by side, and you can see very well executed on both. The Bibles have Smith sewn bindings. So the Smith sewn, basically, and I'm going to bring this up nice and close for you to see. If you can take a look down at the spine there, it's you can barely make out. Smith sewn binding is when they take the booklets of the Bible and they sew them together into tiny little booklets, and then they put all the booklets together, and then they sew all of that together into one solid book. So the purpose behind that is to have the longest lasting Bibles possible. A glued binding will fall apart over time. It's just the nature of the beast. The Smith sewn, on the other hand, is going to last a long time. And Allan's binding is by far, hands down, the best I've ever seen. Like I said, Schuyler does a lot of similar things that Allan does, but their binding is in my opinion, very tight, not nearly as wonderfully soft and limp as Allan's is. So now I'll show you case in point here. If I take my Bible here and I open it up to the beginning, basically Genesis, so I'm going to open it up, and there you have it. I mean, it's just completely lays flat. Even on the very first page of the Bible, I mean, it lays flat. If I actually opened it up to Genesis 20, you can see, I mean, it's almost flat. And that was the one with substantial use. That's the black one. So let's look at how the brand new one holds up if we open it up to Genesis as well. So there you have it. I mean, lays flat. It's Genesis 14. Very few Bibles can do that out of the box. And the more you use it, the more that binding will break itself in, and the softer and easier it'll be to actually open the Bible. So let's take a quick look at the ribbons. There's 3 premium ribbons that come with the ESV Study. The blue one has these premium blue, it's almost like a navy or a midnight blue ribbon, and I just love Allan's ribbons. So look at that ribbon there, and you can just see how the light hits it. It's just such a nice quality ribbon, and they give you 3 of these, and love it. On the brown one, they use a honey gold ribbon, and the ribbon complements the Bible so well. I mean, it's just this beautiful honey gold color, just sparkly, high quality, nice and wide ribbon. Love it. Can't stand it when manufacturers skimp out. They have a beautiful Bible and they give you these little spaghetti noodle ribbons. Not Allan. Allan's going to go premium all the way. All right, let's take a little bit of a look at the paper and the typeface, and then we'll start to wrap this up. So the paper that's used for both of these Bibles is a Primalax European Bible paper. It's actually French. It translates out to about 30 GSM, the thickness. And if you're worried about ghosting, don't be. That I know is a problem for most study Bibles because you've got so much going on that you can't line match. And so you're worried about, well, what's the bleed through look like? What's the text look like on the other side? Don't worry about it for this Bible. If you're super hypersensitive, then you're going to notice it even with something like the Quintel that has 45 GSM, the thickest on the paper. I mean, if you're really super sensitive. If you're someone who the standard Allan Bibles, the ghosting is good for you, then this will be good for you. So I'm going to hold this up to show you kind of some of the ghosting or lack thereof it's not bad at all. The paper whiteness is just right, the text is just crisp enough, and you really don't get much bleed through at all. The font that they use is a lexicon font, a Frutiger font, and a Helvetica font. There's 3 different fonts that they use for the Bible. The main font, so the font that you're going to get for the Bible text itself, so up here, that's going to be your Lexicon 7.7 font. Fairly generous for how many words are in this Bible. The study notes, so down here, those fonts are actually going to be a Frutiger 6.3 point font. It's smaller, but it's not, I mean, the font itself complements the size. So just because it's a smaller font does not mean that it's not legible. It's very legible. The way that they did it is just absolutely outstanding. And then you have the Helvetica font, and I'm not entirely sure where they use that. I think that they might use that in the cross-references, possibly even in the concordance, but I'm not entirely sure. I want to point out a few more features here of the Bible. I mentioned that it has color maps, and it has color, I mean, just vibrant color. If you can look at it, it just shows you like this is a city in Corinth. And it not only does it give you the historical context, but it gives you some color shots of what the city could have looked like. It just really helps paint the picture. And then you get a ton of these charts that show you timelines. It just shows you all kinds of just wonderfully organized information that makes it so easy to study. And then I also want to point out, because I think that this is one of the questions that I received, is, well, you have a lot of color in the Bible. What does the bleed through look like on the color pages? Here you have the map of the Middle East. Okay, you can see how much detail and color is in that map. All right, now if we flip to the other side, and remember you have a light shining on this as well. Okay, so if you flip to the other side here, look at that. I mean, you hardly can tell. I mean, you can definitely tell there's a little bleed through, but completely legible, so easy to read. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with how well that they executed on these Bibles. Here's the situation with these Bibles. Like any Allan Bible, they're only printed for so long, and then they're gone. And then you're going to be bidding on them on eBay. If you're looking for a good study Bible, something that you can take with you that's fairly portable, something that you can gain a lot of solid information from, this is it for you. I challenge you to go and find a better quality, better put together study Bible on the market. Not only that, but I challenge you to find a better content study Bible. So I'm referring to the ESV study Bible. You just won't do it. And the fact that Allan was able to marry these two together, the Crossway text block that's just so well executed, then given the Royal Allan treatment with the leather, the ribbons, the art gilt, the gilt lines, it's by far the best study Bible I've ever handled, the best study Bible that I've ever seen. And it's going to be one of those situations when they're gone, and you're going to have to bid on eBay. And we all know how that goes with eBay prices. I encourage you to pick one up now. You can get one at evangelicalbibles.com, and you can also see reviews there from other people who have purchased a similar Bible. And I don't know if I've seen a 4-star review. Everywhere I've seen, everyone's given this a 5-star. I gave it a 5-star. I'm giving it a 5-star now. And you can also buy this directly from R.L. Allan at biblesdirect.com. They have them in stock there as well. I was impressed with Allan's shipping. I've got this Bible from Allan to my house in, I believe, 8 or 9 days, 10 days, something like that. I mean, it was incredibly fast. So if you will choose to order directly from Allan, you can go that route as well. As always, please ask tons of questions. Post your questions on Allan's website, or on Allan's Facebook page, I should say, on Bibles Direct Facebook page. Ask me directly. If there's anything that you want to see more specifically, I'll take a ton of pictures and send them to you. Pick one up while you can. Again, I can't recommend black or brown because they're both equally beautiful in their own right. I went with the black initially, now I have this brown. Whatever one you decide to go with, just please post a review or get online and let us know what you think about these. They're definitely high quality, top of the line. If you pick one up, you won't regret it. So that's the review of the ESV Study Personal Size. Thank you for watching, everyone, and God bless.